Hey, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I am back with another series of the Planets in the Houses series videos, okay? So in this series of videos, we are going to be discussing planets in the 10th house, all right? We have reached the highest point in the natal chart. Yes, we have. So we getting there slowly but surely, okay? Like this time last year, you would have thought I would have been stopping at the third house, but here we are at the 10th house. All right. So in this introduction video, I just kind of want to give like a brief overview of kind of what we're going to be talking about. So I don't have to like repeat certain things over and over again, okay? So the 10th house does represent your career, and I have discussed career in various points as I've been discussing planets in the houses and things like that. But this is the video that you should really pay attention to when it comes to your career. Okay, so the 10th house has to deal with your career, your public standing, your reputation, your legacy, and how you're going to be known when you like kind of like leave this earth. Like, what are they going to say at your funeral? What's going to be in your obituary? A lot of that kind of has to do with your 10th house, you know, because the 10th house rules Capricorn. Okay, so remember that. So it's all about legacy. Okay, it's all about what you're leaving behind. It's all about your reputation and your public standing. So pretty straightforward, you know, no bells and whistles, just like Capricorn likes it. You know, I got my blazer on, I'm ready for business, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. It's not a whole bunch of stuff like a lot of these other placements. This is a bit of a controversial statement that I'm going to make, though. The 10th house does have to deal with the mother as well. Now, I know that most astrologers and most of you have learned that the 4th house represents the mother and the 10th house represents the father. I have kind of learned it the other way around, and it's actually been quite accurate. If you do go back to my 4th house series of videos, when I discuss the planets in the 4th house, I do discuss the father ruling the 4th house as that being, you know, the foundation. Traditionally, the father is, you know, the foundation of the family. So that's why it rules the 4th house and things of that nature. So with the mother ruling the 10th house, you're going to hear me talking about the mother more, not just with the moon, for instance, but I'm going to be talking about it, you know, throughout the planets in the houses, just so you can get perspective. And it'll really come in handy when you're looking at, like, you know, the planet that rules the 10th house, especially if you don't have any planets there. Remember, I encourage everyone to actually watch all of the videos because they all play an integral part in your natal chart. Even if you don't have planets in that house, please watch these videos. Another important thing to remember about this series of videos is that not only am I going to be talking about the planets in the 10th house, but I'm also going to be talking about the midheaven, okay, which is the highest point in the natal chart. It is also known as the MC. All right. And that represents your career and public standing as well. So, you know, the planets that you have in the 10th house, they may have a different type of energy than the sign that's on the 10th house cusp. So I'm kind of going to be doing both when I discuss it, especially when I talk about the planets that rule more than one sign. Like Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini, and Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. So I will be discussing that. So it'll vary a little bit when I discuss Mercury and when I discuss Venus, because I have to discuss those signs on the 10th house cusps as well. So okay, so remember with these placements, I have to stress this in all of my videos because people tend to forget. All right, this energy that these characteristics that I give, the energy can be modified if you have other planets that are in the 10th house, if you have other planets that are aspecting the 10th house, especially if it's aspecting it in, you know, a challenging way or something like that. So everything could change depending on what sign is on the 10th house cusp, you know, because I'm going to be talking about both the planets and the house cusp. So like, for instance, if you have Mercury in the 10th house, but then you have Cancer on the 10th house cusp, it's going to give a different vibe than you having Mercury in the 10th house, Gemini on the 10th house cusp. I need to make this clear because some of y'all, like, y'all are getting better with this. I think it's because I'm putting these disclosures at the beginning of the videos, but I just want to stress this out, that everything is relative when it comes to astrology. It depends on so many different variables, okay? So I just wanted to make that clear before we get into these planets in the 10th house. It's going to be very interesting in this series of videos. It's going to be very straightforward. I don't expect these videos to be too long, but if they are, I'm apologizing in advance because you know how a girl likes to talk, you know what I'm saying? But I think we're going to get to the point, and I think we're going to get to the nitty gritty, and it's going to be informative, and it's going to be useful. This is very Capricornian, Capricorn, Saturnian, whatever. And I hope you like these videos. So stay tuned. Okay, what's up, everybody? So in this video, we are going to be discussing Saturn in the 10th house, okay? All right, so just as a reminder, Saturn in the 10th house is similar to having Saturn in Capricorn or having Capricorn on the 10th house cusp. So this is the home of the 10th house, Capricorn, Saturn. This is where you live. This is where you like to be. This is where you're most productive. And this is where you're going to work. Okay. So I know anybody who has watched any of my other videos, when I get to talking about Saturn, it be all doom and gloom and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, depression, and it's like karma, and, you know, it's going to be a hard knock life and all of that shit. And it is true, because Saturn is not a planet of fun. It's not a planet of like abundance. It's not a planet of feeling good and stuff like that, or like even euphoria or anything like that. It's literally a planet of discipline, of hard work, of, you know, steady building and things like that. But the reason why it rules the 10th house and rules Capricorn and is good in the 10th house is because the 10th house is all about building. It's all about building a career. It's all about building a legacy. It's all about being upstanding and having a good reputation. You know, um, it's all about presenting the best part of yourself in your career self, you know what I'm saying, and having that be long lasting. And also, just a little caveat, traditionally Saturn also rules Aquarius, but I'm not really going to talk about that much in this video. Stay tuned for the Uranus in the 10th house to hear about Aquarius energy on the 10th house cusp. So I just had to put that out there. Okay, back to Saturn in the 10th house. So yeah, with Saturn in the 10th house, you are a very, very diligent worker when it comes to your career. Kind of like with Mars, you kind of like stop at nothing. You're kind of like that workaholic type of thing. But with Saturn in the 10th house, you're probably going to take less risks, because Saturn don't like risks. Okay. Saturn is about the tried and true, about the traditional, and we're going to do this the way it's always been done type of thing. And we're going to take every little itty bitty step to get there. We're not skipping shit. Okay. We're not like going around and, you know, trying to find like loopholes and stuff like that. You're doing it the tried and true way. You're doing the steps. You're on a plan. You have a master plan to be your best, most ambitious, driven self. Okay. And any type of job, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that, career, because we're not talking about the 6th house, we're talking about the 10th house. Okay. So any type of career that involves anything where you can be of some authority, that's where you need to be. This is another sign and placement that is good for the military. You know, I mentioned 4 signs already, and that was Aries, Virgo, Libra, and now Capricorn. You can definitely have a career in the military and be at the top of the ranks if you have Capricorn on the 10th house cusp or Saturn in the 10th house. I mean, you big boss in the military. I don't know if it's like lieutenant, colonel, like what, sergeant, whatever is the highest. That's you in the military, okay? If that's what you choose. Of course, law enforcement. I know I always say that is I just, I live in America, so I don't like the cops. So, and I'm black. So that's what it is. But, Saturn in the 10th house, you could definitely be in law enforcement and high up, probably like, chief of police, and stuff like that. You could also be a politician. This is a very strong placement for a politician. This is a very like, like kind of stern, not stern. Well, yeah, it is stern because it's Saturn. This is very like no nonsense politician. You know what I'm saying? This is, I'm going to get it done by any means necessary. Okay. So definitely, yes, a politician. And also, like, simply just owning your own business. Owning your own business. Now, I do always say, there are some signs that are able to make a career out of the 9 to 5 and move up. And it's not to say that Capricorn in the 10th or Saturn in the 10th can't work a regular 9 to 5 job, because they can. Pretty much all of the earth signs on the 10th house are capable of working a regular 9 to 5. Okay. So I want to put that out there. But Saturn, you're going to start to get, you know, like you're going to get sick of people telling you what to do. You want to be the authority. You know what I'm saying? You're the boss. So that is how you see yourself. You see yourself as the CEO. So because Capricorns, and Saturn in the 10th house energy is very smart. They not stupid and shit like that. Like a Taurus, like a Virgo, they are going to work their regular 9 to 5 job, but they are going to be having their business on the side. Oh, and yes, this person is going to be very much a workaholic. They're going to be all about work. They're going to be remembered for making big things happen, but you probably never saw them because they were always working. Okay. Always working. This is what they care about. And it has to deal with their legacy and what they're going to, leave to their children and what they're going to pass on. You know what I'm saying? Cancer and Capricorn are very similar in that effect that they're about family in different ways. Capricorn is more about, like the providing aspect of family and kind of like bringing home the bacon and setting the tone for the legacy that's going to live on. This is generational wealth here that we're talking about. We're talking about stability. We're talking about responsibility. You know what I'm saying? We're talking all of that. Okay. So another thing to remember about Saturn, yes, Saturn has to deal with karma. So with Saturn in the 10th house, this is the area of your life where you are going to or may experience some type of karma that has to deal with your career. I always say life ain't no crystal stair. Wherever Saturn is, even though Saturn rules the 10th house and it's happy in the 10th house, there's still going to be issues. There's still going to be problems. There's still going to be things that you need to overcome as it pertains to your career and public standing. And maybe it's not only your career, but it is your reputation. It's possible that your reputation could be tarnished or something like that with Saturn in the 10th house. And you need to learn something about that or learn something about the career paths that you're choosing to take, and things of that nature. Of course, Saturn in the 10th can, be very much in the financial field, banking, like stocks and bonds, anything like that. I see like Saturn in the 10th can really be like white collar or blue collar. But when it comes to like kind of like that legacy aspect, they're probably going to try to move more towards like those white collar, type of jobs and things like that. But yeah, anything where you have to be of an authority. So also remember, depending on what sign you have on the 10th house cusp is going to, modify that energy. So let's just say, you have Saturn in Libra on the 10th house. Maybe you're going to be like the CEO of a record label or something like that. Or maybe you'll like own like a modeling agency or something like that, but you're the boss. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that if you have Saturn in the 10th house that you have to have a boring career where you're just, dealing with numbers and taxes and stuff like that. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that you need to be in control. You need to be in charge. That's really what it kind of means in a nutshell. And in terms of like how you're going to be remembered, you want to be remembered as someone who was ambitious, somebody who was driven, somebody who got shit done, somebody who was you know, the CEO of their company, their company being very successful and very lucrative, you know what I'm saying? And um, that image and that money being passed along and just that legacy in general. You want to be known for doing big things, okay? Definitely want to be known for that. As far as the mother, when it comes to the 10th house, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like if you had Saturn in the 10th, your mother could have been very stern, definitely like a disciplinarian, somebody who, accepted nothing but straight A's and things like that. Is like, you are going to college, ain't nobody have time for that. Like, you are going to be a success whether you like it or not. I didn't push you out for you to be a failure, okay? Um, so that's something that you have to remember. Saturn energy and Capricorn energy, they don't like to fail and they don't like to be broke. Okay. So your mother may have also like struggled with money and things like that, especially if they were a single parent. But rest assured, they was always going to find a way out of no way. This is the find a way out of no way placement. Okay. There's so much determination and just drive with this particular placement. You know what I'm saying? Also with Saturn in the 10th house, when it comes to the mother, your mother could have been like older, because Saturn and Capricorn kind of have to deal with elders. So maybe your parents had you when they were a little bit older, or maybe you were raised by your grandparents or something along those lines. So that's something to think about. But yeah, I did want to go back to the like kind of like failure part. You do have a fear of failing. You have a fear of just fear when it comes to Saturn in the 10th. And when this has to deal with your livelihood, your well-being, your money, your family, your legacy, you kind of feel like everything is on the line. You have like the weight of the world on your shoulders. And when you have Saturn in the 10th house, you just feel like I have to do this to make things better for me and my family. Like I have to do this to make things better for myself. Like I literally went from the gutter. So now I have to, go to the top. And there's definitely going to be things you're going to go through. Saturn in the 10th, Saturn and Capricorn energy, they do not like to be broke. They do not like to not have money. So they're going to be the penny pinchers. Okay. They can be extremely successful people and still be like extremely frugal. But I like to just call it cheap. They can just be straight up cheap. I mean, let's just call a spade. Sometimes people are just cheap and not frugal. So that's very like Saturn in the 10th. Like you could literally be like sitting on, millions possibly if you're lucky enough to get to that point, but still kind of live very modestly. Saturn in the 10th is not like that flashy type of energy and things of that nature. So you kind of you may be living like below your means and things of that nature. So I just wanted to kind of like put that out there. But Saturn in the 10th is always going to be working. Like that's just, they're always going to have some type of career. And when they like announce themselves, when they introduce themselves, whatever it is, maybe they're just starting out, whatever business they starting out, it don't matter. I'm a software engineer, or I am a film editor, or I am a cultural content creator. They're going to make that shit sound really, really nice. Like they're going to make that shit sound like that job pays a lot of money. And it may just be something that you're just, starting out doing and things of that nature. But there's always a goal for Saturn and Capricorn to have their own, because this has to deal with kind of like the karma aspect of it, because there is a, deprivation aspect to Saturn. There's things that are lacking, and usually you have to make a lot of sacrifices. Sacrifice is a big word for Capricorn and Saturn in the 10th, just in general. But especially when it comes to things in your life in order for you to get to the top. So unfortunately, Sometimes you may have to sacrifice having a family in order for you to have your career. You may have to sacrifice having friends or traveling or really doing a lot of, fun, enjoyable things because you're so headstrong and focused on building. And you may even get to the point where there's nobody to build for because you kind of left everybody behind because you're so like tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, Saturn energy and Capricorn energy is motivated by fear. Okay. If they like fear that they're going to be broke, or they fear that they're going to die or something like that, or they fear that they're going to lose their house, they're going to be homeless, they're going to be trying to do, you know, things to overcome that. And that can be having, multiple careers and multiple jobs, or just like working themselves to the bone, especially if you're Saturn in the 10th and you are in politics. Like, please, like, you ain't never going to be home. You ain't never going to have no family. You ain't never going to have no life. So depending on how the rest of your chart is set up, that may be something that's preferable to you because maybe you don't like your family. But to others, that may be something that is stifling, that you don't like. So you do have to try to figure out some serious work-life balance if you actually want to have a career and have, a family and have an actual life outside of work. Your legacy ends up being all about your work as opposed to, who you are as a person and your character and stuff like that, because that's what a Saturn in the 10th house person may be putting all of their energy in. So just remember that. And you're prone to like burn out. So sometimes you do got to take a rest. Sometimes you do got to take a vacation. Use that vacation time. Okay. And especially if you work for yourself and you have your own business, like, and you have passive income, like, you don't have to work all the time. Like, take a vacation, please, and relax. Don't take your laptop. Don't take any of your work shit when you go on vacation, Saturn in the 10th house. I mean that shit, okay? All right, so I think that I covered everything with Saturn in the 10th. Career possibilities. I talked about the mother. I talked about public standing and reputation and things of that nature. Yes, so just remember, you may have to sacrifice some things in order to get to the top, but just know that this placement is extremely determined and they're extremely willful, and they're going to get there. Come hell or high water, they're going to get there. Okay. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you happen to have this placement, let me know if this resonates with you. If you know someone else that has this placement, put that information in the comments below. I like to see it. I read all of the comments, y'all. So thank you so much for being engaging. Remember to like, comment, share, tell a friend, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.